Tonight, we're exploring the weirdest Pokémon fan theories. For those of you who've been joining us consistently, I want to thank you for being such an integral part of our channel. If you're falling asleep with us tonight, let me know in the comments how many nights in a row you've been here. And if this is your first night, just comment day 1. Now let's get back to the video. Close your eyes for a moment and think back to the first time you stepped into the tall grass outside of Pallet Town. Think of the music, the rustle of the leaves, and the sense of wonder that came with catching your very first companion. For over 25 years, the world of Pokémon has been presented to us as a bright, vibrant utopia where children and magical creatures live in perfect harmony. A world of friendship, of badges earned through perseverance, and of a bond that transcends language. But as the sun sets over the Kanto region and the shadows grow long across the Lavender Town Cemetery, a different version of this world begins to emerge. If you look closely at the cracks in the official history, if you read between the lines of the cryptic Pokédex entries and listen to the whispers of the people living in these digital cities, you will find a reality that is far more complex, far more mysterious, and at times deeply unsettling. Tonight, we're going to step away from the bright lights of the Pokémon League and descend into the deep, quiet lore that exists in the periphery. We're going to explore the theories that have kept fans awake at night for decades. These are not just idle guesses. They are the result of thousands of trainers looking at the evidence and realizing that something doesn't quite add up. Why are there so few adult men in the original games? Why does a creature like Ditto share the exact same weight and color palette as the mythical Mew? And what is really hiding under the rag of a Mimikyu or behind the silent staring eyes of a Wobbuffet's tail? The stakes of these questions go beyond simple curiosity. They change the way we perceive our childhood memories. If these theories are true, then the Pokémon world isn't just a playground. It is a world built on the ashes of a great war. A world where scientific ethics were discarded in the pursuit of power, and where the line between human and Pokémon is thinner than we ever dared to imagine. We're talking about the potential for secret identities that span generations, the dark origins of legendary species, and the terrifying possibility that the very technology used to capture these creatures might be corrupting their very souls. We are about to embark on a journey through the strangest corners of the Pokémon universe. We will examine the evidence for a global conflict that wiped out an entire generation of fathers. We will look at the tragic experiments that took place in the burned-out ruins of the Cinnabar Island laboratory. We will question the true motives of Team Rocket and wonder if the villains we fought were actually the only ones trying to protect the world from a much greater threat. We will even explore the cosmic and nuclear possibilities of how these creatures came to be in the first place. As you settle in and the world around you fades into the background, let the familiar sounds of the Pokémon world guide you into a state of deep relaxation. We aren't just looking for answers tonight. We are looking for the truth that hides in the tall grass. This is a journey into the heart of the mystery, a slow descent into the lore that defines the franchise in ways the official guidebooks never could. So, get comfortable, adjust your headphones, and prepare to see the world of Pokémon in a completely new light. The journey is long, the secrets are many, and the truth is waiting to be uncovered. Let us begin our walk through the tall grass where the shadows are long and the mysteries are eternal. Imagine, if you will, the silence of a world where the only sound is the cry of a distant Pidgey. Imagine the weight of history that isn't taught in schools, the stories that the gym leaders won't tell you, and the legacy of a world that has seen both great beauty and unimaginable darkness. This is the world we are entering tonight. It is a world of ghosts, of clones, of forgotten wars, and of the strange silent bond between a trainer and a creature that might be much more than it seems. We often take for granted the rules of the Pokémon world. We accept that we can shrink massive creatures into small metallic spheres. We accept that a 10-year-old can travel the world alone. We accept that certain species look identical to one another, across every city and every region. But when you stop to ask why, the answers you find are rarely simple. They lead down rabbit holes of government conspiracies, ancient myths, and the very nature of evolution itself. Tonight is about those questions. It is about the what-ifs that turn a simple game into a lifelong obsession. It is about the feeling of discovering a secret that was hidden in plain sight for 20 years. We are going to peel back the layers of the Pokémon world, one theory at a time, until we reach the core of what makes this universe so hauntingly beautiful. Whether you are a veteran trainer who has explored every inch of every region, or someone who simply remembers the glow of a Game Boy screen under the covers late at night, there is something here for you. The lore of Pokémon is a vast, interconnected web of stories that grow more fascinating the deeper you go. And tonight, we have all the time in the world to explore it. So let the rhythm of the narrative carry you away. Let the mysteries unfold at their own pace. There is no rush to reach the end, for the beauty is in the exploration itself. We are going to look at the faces we thought we knew and see the strangers behind them. We are going to visit the places we thought were safe and find the ghosts that linger there. And through it all, we will find a deeper appreciation for the world that has captured our imaginations for so long. The tall grass is rustling. The wind is picking up over the Johto plains. The ancient ruins of Sinnoh are whispering their secrets. It is time to listen. It is time to wonder. It is time to dive into the weirdest, darkest, and most captivating fan theories in the history of Pokémon. Think of the vastness of the ocean in the Hoenn region, or the towering peaks of Mount Coronet. Think of the urban sprawl of Unova and the ancient mysteries of Kalos. In every corner of this world, there are anomalies. There are creatures that defy the known laws of biology. There are characters whose backstories are filled with gaps that only the most dedicated fans have been able to bridge. Why does the Pokédex describe such horrific fates for the children who encounter certain ghost-type Pokémon? Is it merely flavor text, or is it a warning based on a history of tragedy? Why do the same faces in every Pokémon Center and every police station? Is it a quirk of the animation, or is there a much more clinical, perhaps even artificial explanation for the Joy and Jenny lines? And then there is the question of the protagonist. Why are we always the ones tasked with saving the world? Why are the adults so often absent or seemingly incapable of handling the threats that we, as children, face with ease? Some say it's because we are living in the aftermath of a catastrophe that left the world in the hands of the young. Others say it's because the world itself is a simulation, or a dream, or a digital construct where the rules of reality are constantly being rewritten. Tonight, we will weigh these possibilities. We will look at the evidence found in the code of the games and the frames of the anime. We will talk about Missing No, the glitch that became a legend, and what it represents for the stability of the Pokémon universe. We will talk about the connection between Gengar and Clefable, a shadow and its source, and what that says about the duality of life and death. We will also look at the human element, the tragic story of N, the boy who could talk to Pokémon, and the theory that he was never truly human to begin with. The mystery of Ash's father, a figure who has been missing since the very first episode, and the possibility that he has been watching from the shadows all along. As the night deepens, these stories will intertwine. You will begin to see how a theory about a Wobbuffet's tale might connect to the broader themes of deception and survival. You will see how the origins of Mew and Ditto reflect the hubris of man and the desire to play God. This is not just a collection of trivia, this is an exploration of the collective imagination of millions of people who have lived in this world, breathed its air and fought its battles. It is a testament to the depth of the Pokémon franchise that decades later, we are still finding new ways to interpret its story. So as you drift closer to sleep, or as you simply Find a moment of peace in your day. Let these theories wash over you. Don't worry about remembering every detail. Just let the atmosphere of the mystery settle in. The world of Pokémon is much larger than the map on your screen. It is a world of infinite possibilities, and tonight we're going to explore the very best of them. The journey begins now. We are leaving the safety of the path and heading into the unknown. We are going to find the truth, however strange it may be. Welcome to the deep lore. Welcome to the mysteries of the Pokémon world. Every legend has a beginning, and every myth is born from a grain of truth. In the world of Pokémon, those grains are scattered everywhere, waiting for someone to pick them up and piece them together. Some of these theories will feel familiar, like an old ghost story told around a campfire. Others will feel brand new, challenging everything you thought you knew about your favourite Pokémon. But all of them share one thing in common. They come from a place of love for this world. They come from the desire to see the Pokémon universe as a living, breathing place with a history that is as rich and complicated as our own. As we move through these chapters, think of yourself as a researcher, an explorer of the digital frontier. We are looking for the ghost in the machine, the unintended consequences of a world where creatures can control the elements and humans can transform matter into energy. We will talk about the darker implications of the Pokémon food chain, a topic the games often dance around but never fully address. We will look at the possibility that the world is just one of many, a multiverse where every choice we make creates a new reality. And finally, we will look at the most enduring mystery of all, the bond between a trainer and their Pokémon. Is it a bond of friendship, or is it something more complex? Is it possible that the Pokémon are the ones in control, guiding us through their world for reasons we can't yet comprehend? These are the questions that define the Pokémon lore experience. They are the reason we keep coming back, generation after generation. Because no matter how many badges we collect or how many Pokédexes we fill, there is always another mystery waiting around the corner. So take a deep breath, let the tension leave your body. The world of Pokémon is waiting for you, and it is far more incredible than you ever imagined. Let's step into the shadows and see what we can find. The wind whispers through the trees of the Viridian Forest. The waves lap against the shores of Cinnabar Island. The silence of the ruins of Alph is heavy with the weight of thousands of years. In these quiet moments, the theories start to make sense. The patterns emerge. The truth begins to flicker like a light in the distance. Tonight, we follow that light. We go where the official story ends and the fan theories begin. We go into the heart of the Pokémon mythos, where the weirdest and most wonderful ideas live. Are you ready? The journey is about to take its first step. Let the lore begin. Have you ever noticed that in the Pokémon world, fathers just vanish? Not a single game hands you a dad waving goodbye from the doorstep. Red steps out of Pallet Town, with only his mother fussing over his hat. Blue's got his grandfather, the professor, but where's the old man who taught him to throw a Pokeball? Ash Ketchum launches his journey with Delia baking rice balls and zero mention of a paternal shadow in the house. It's not a glitch in the code, it's a pattern etched across the entire multiverse. From Kanto's sleepy roots to Gala's misty wilds. Think about it as you drift towards sleep. Every protagonist, every rival, every gym leader we idolize, they're all missing that one piece. Lyra in Johto wakes to her mum's chatter about errands. Dawn's father, a ghost, perhaps off on some unseen league circuit that no one ever confirms. Hilbert, Serena, Elio, Gloria, sons and daughters adrift in a sea of maternal care and elderly mentors. Professor Oaks and Sycamores dispense wisdom from dusty labs, but they stand in for fathers who never show. Even in spin-offs, like Mystery Dungeon, the heroes emerge from ether without lineage. The anime doubles down. Brock raises his siblings because their dad ditched them for adventure, only to slink back later like a Magikarp flopping ashore. It's everywhere, this void. a deliberate silence screaming through pixelated skies. What fills that gap? Mothers everywhere, sturdy and ever-present, packing lunches and cheering from porches. Grandparents too, old professors buried in Pokédexes, ancient trainers guarding routes with their final Pokémon. But men in their prime, scarce as a shiny encounter. Gym leaders skew old or young. Misty's sisters are performers, yeah, but no dad barking orders. Blaine's a fossil himself, Erica a quiet enigma. The world hums with kids chasing badges and grannies tending gardens, yet the backbone of working-age fathers feels hollowed out. Why? Fans have peeled back the layers, and one theory rises like a shadow over Lavender Tower. The Great War. Picture Kanto not as a playground of roots and gyms, but as scarred earth from a cataclysm that the games bury under cheerful sprites. The Great War theory whispers that before Red ever set foot on Route 1, a brutal conflict ravaged the region. Not trainers battling for fun, but armies clashing with Pokémon as weapons of mass destruction. Cities reduced to rubble, now rebuilt as verdant turf or Ecruteak. The missing generation? Wiped clean. Adult men drafted into fronts where Charizard scorched battalions and Gyarados flooded trenches. Survivors? Too shell-shocked to rebuild families, or scattered like ditto in the wind. Mothers left widowed, raising latchkey prodigies who grab 6 Pokémon and hit the road at 10. It's why every town feels like a matriarchy dotted with relics. Lieutenant Surge cracks the door open to this nightmare. Vermilion Jim's electric brute, the towering American expat with scars hidden under his tracksuit. His dialogue isn't just trash talk, it's a survivor's rasp. Kid, your Pokémon are too soft. Back in Nam, we had real battles. Nam Vietnam, but twisted into Pokémon's code. Fans decode it as a veiled nod to the war's toll. Surge calls you punk and squirt. But his eyes, those pixelated glares, betray a man who watched friends vaporized by hyperbeams. He traded dog tags for badges, but the thunder still rumbles in his Raichu. My electrifying attacks put the enemy on the ropes, he bellows. Enemy, not rivals. A war machine repurposed for gym circuits, his absence from fatherhood explained by foxholes and fallout. Surge isn't alone. His lines echo across remakes, a breadcrumb trail to the unspoken carnage. This war reshaped everything. Pokémon Mansion on Cinnabar? Not a lab for curiosities, but a war research bunker where Mewtwo's precursors bubbled in vats. The Seavai Islands, blocked by Snorlax, quarantined blast zones. Bill's storage system, a desperate archive for Pokémon orphaned by owners lost in the fray. Kid trainers start young because they have to. Society's reset button after the men marched off and never returned. Elders like Oak fill the void, hoarding knowledge because history's too raw to teach. And the kids, they battle not for glory, but to prove they're ready for a world that chews up the unprepared. Now feel the weight of that absence on the Pokémon world itself. A landscape teeming with children wielding godlike creatures, unsupervised except by Pokémon centers, staffed by identical nurses Joy. Clones perhaps, bred for a post-war triage. Elderly wardens like the Windstrait family, clinging to their patch of Route 111, their sons long gone to the front. Psychologically, it's a powder keg hushed under poké flutes. These 10-year-olds, fatherless and fueled by wanderlust, roam with teams that could level mountains. Pikachu's Thunderbolt fries Rattata. Charmeleon's flames scar oaks. No dads to rein them in, just mums who wave and say, be safe. It's a generation raised on loss, channeling grief into gyms and elites. Rivals like Blue snap with arrogance, masking their own voids. Gary Oak, grandson of the professor, but where's his link to the man who should have taught him mercy? The elderly feel it too, their Pokémon wizened and loyal. Guardians of routes where young trainers test their mettle. Imagine the quiet dinners in Pallet Town. Delia alone at the table, Red's empty chair, a monument. Or Saffron's copycat girls, mimicking idols because real role models marched away. This fatherless haze breeds a peculiar innocence, laced with edge. Kids allying with legendaries, toppling teams like Rocket, all while the world rebuilds on unspoken graves. The Great War's silence lingers in every empty paternal frame, a multiverse adrift without its anchors. But that void hints at deeper shadows lurking in the boss's lair, where Giovanni's empire might conceal even darker family secrets. Stick around for Chapter 2, The Shadow of the Boss, where we unravel if the Team Rocket Kingpin is more than a villain. He could be the father Pokémon never gave you. What if the father Ash never knew isn't dead or lost in some forgotten war, but pulling strings from the darkest corners of Kanto? Giovanni, the iron-fisted leader of Team Rocket, harbours a secret bond to our young hero, one that whispers of blood, ties long abandoned. Fans have pieced this together through clues scattered like shadows across the anime and games, suggesting Giovanni didn't just vanish like so many other dads. He chose to watch from afar, moulding the world around his son without ever stepping into the light. Picture the Viridian Gym, that towering fortress disguised as a simple battle hall where Giovanni broods over maps of global domination. But peel back the villainous facade and you find a man whose every scheme circles back to Ash Ketchum. Why else would Team Rocket's grunts fixate so obsessively on that one Pikachu? Not for power, not for profit alone, but to keep tabs on the boy who carries Giovanni's legacy in his veins. The theory paints Giovanni as the absentee father who abandoned Delia and infant Ash to climb the criminal ladder, forging Team Rocket into his empire while secretly ensuring his son's safety from greater threats. This paternal shadow explains the relentless pursuits, the mechs and balloons crashing through Pallet Town skies. It's not mindless theft, it's surveillance, a father's twisted way of protecting what he left behind. Giovanni's cold demeanour cracks in rare moments. Recall the Pokémon League finale, where his gaze lingers on Ash with something deeper than disdain. A flicker of recognition buried under layers of command. He knows the Pikachu's bond makes it unbeatable, a perfect ward to track Ash's every victory and peril. Now, lean in closer, because Team Rocket's motto isn't the cackle of villains, it's a creed carved from necessity. To protect the world from devastation, they chant, hot air balloons blotting out the stars, to unite all peoples within our nation, to denounce the evils of truth and love, to extend our reach to the stars above. Dismiss it as parody at your own peril. Fans argue it's a manifesto for stability, a vow to shield humanity from the chaos Pokémon unleash unchecked. Devastation looms in wild herds stampeding cities, legendary beasts shattering mountains. Giovanni's organization steps in, corralling power under one banner to prevent anarchy. Unite all peoples? That's no joke about conquest. It's a call for order in a fractured world, where regions bicker over badges and gyms while shadows of greater disasters brew. Denounce truth and love? Harsh words masking the folly of blind idealism. Trainers like Ash chase dreams that could unravel society if legends like Mewtwo rise unchecked. Extend to the stars? Team Rocket's rockets aren't failures. They're prototypes for humanity's survival, probing skies where cosmic threats like Deoxys lurk. Giovanni isn't conquering, he's consolidating, a shadow guardian against the void. And Pikachu, that electric spark becomes the linchpin of benevolence, hidden in plain sight. Stealing it isn't greed, it's installing a beacon, a way to monitor Ash amid tournaments, teaming with rivals who might exploit his potential. Giovanni abandoned fatherhood to build this machine of protection, sacrificing closeness for a grander safeguard. Team Rocket's true mission pulses beneath the crime. Avert global ruin by controlling the chaos, or at minimum, watch over the heir who could tip the scales. Is it paternal love, warped by power, or a calculated surveillance state dressed as villainy? Delve deeper into the anime's undercurrents, and the evidence mounts like storm clouds. Giovanni's Persian lounges at his side, a regal stand-in for the loyalty he craves from afar. Ash's unyielding spirit mirrors the boss's own ruthless drive, battling through odds with the same unblinking focus. Even the timing aligns. Giovanni surfaces precisely when Ash nears Viridian, as if drawn by invisible threads of kinship. Fans point to subtle animations, a grunt hesitating before blasting off, whispering doubts about their true purpose. It's a web of hints, each thread tugging toward revelation. Yet this theory casts long shadows of its own. If Giovanni is dad, why the silence? Abandonment born of shame, perhaps, leaving Delia to raise a trainer who might one day challenge his throne, or fear that closeness would paint a target on Ash's back amid rivals like the Elite Four. Team Rocket's ops expand beyond theft, silencing poachers, quelling outbreaks in the shadows. Their protection from devastation feels noble when you see Kanto's underbelly. Abandoned power plants crawling with Electabuzz, Sylph Cup rife with espionage. Giovanni unites the fringes, forging stability from society's cracks. Reinterpret the motto once more, and it sings like prophecy. In a world where Pokémon topple towers and flood coasts, who else dares declare protection? Gym leaders play at local heroes, the League chases glory, Team Rocket operates globally. Their failures mere theatre to mask deeper works. Chasing Pikachu keeps Ash in view, ensuring the bloodline endures against whatever great war echoes from those missing fathers we explored last time. This shadow of the boss reframes every Jesse, James, and Meowth blastoff as paternal vigilance, every scheme a veil for salvation. But what lurks in the glitches and failed experiments tied to these hidden agendas? Up next, Chapter 3, The Ghost in the Machine Beckons, where digital hauntings and corrupted data reveal horrors Giovanni might fear even more than his own reflection. But while Team Rocket schemed from the shadows, watching every step you took through their network of spies, a far subtler threat pulsed within the very fabric of your adventure, the digital veins of the Pokéball system itself. You remember encountering it, don't you? That eerie silhouette flickering on your screen in Pokémon Red and Blue, a Pokémon with no official name, no Pokédex entry, just a string of corrupted pixels labelled Missing No. Trainers back in the late 80s stumbled upon it by accident, surfing along the coast of Cinnabar Island, dipping into that invisible glitch spot just offshore. And suddenly, there it was, part bird, part block, a monstrosity that multiplied your items to 6 digits and left your save file in tatters. At first glance, everyone dismissed Missing No as nothing more than sloppy coding, a remnant of Nintendo's rushed development for the original Game Boy launch. Programmers hurried to pack 251 Pokémon into limited cartridge space, and oversights happened, empty data slots bleeding into the wild. But dig deeper, past the surface level error, and you uncover something far more chilling. What if Missing No wasn't a mistake at all? What if it was the first sign of the Pokéball storage system's dark underbelly? A theory that whispers of data corruption rotting away at the heart of every captured creature. Picture your Pikachu, that loyal spark at your side, shrunk down and digitized the moment it touches the ball. Red light flashes, energy converts to code, and it's boxed away. First in your bag, then shuttled to Bill's PC storage when your party fills up. Those boxes stack endlessly in virtual limbo, hundreds of Pokémon suspended in electronic stasis, their biological essence translated into binary streams. Now consider the strain. Game Boy cartridges held barely half a megabyte back then, a fragile magnetic tape prone to wear from constant reads and writes. Leave a Pokémon in storage too long, cycle it through trades or battles repeatedly, and faint errors creep in. Bits flipping, data fragments scattering like ash in the wind. This is where the corruption theory takes hold. Fans pieced it together from eyewitness accounts, trainers reporting Pokémon emerging from PC boxes with warped sprites, impossible movesets, or stats inflated beyond reason. Missing No embodies that decay, a Pokémon whose data has fractured beyond recognition. It's not born from code, it's what happens when a real creature's digital soul unravels. You catch Old Man Glitch first, that ghostly duplicate of the Viridian Gym Elder, and bam, your 6th slot overflows with missing no variants, each one a mangled echo of something once whole. Kabutop's fossil? Swap it out, and the cabinet's empty data slot latches onto your inventory, spawning these abominations that crash games and brick saves. But here's the bridge that blurs the line forever. Missing no as the ghost straddling biology and the machine. Pokémon aren't just animals, they're living data now, their life force encoded in silicon. That Clefairy you boxed away for months, its cleafable evolution data might smear into neighbouring slots, birthing shadow hybrids no lab could dream up. The Pokédex hints at it indirectly. Entries about ghost types phasing through walls, digital Pokémon in later games like Porygon glitching reality itself. Missing no proves the merge isn't seamless. Flesh becomes code, but code hungers to revert, twisting back into something feral, incomplete. Lean in closer, because the terror sinks deeper still. What does deletion mean in this world? You hit the release button on a box Pokémon, and it's gone. Not dead, but erased, its data purged to free space. No funeral, no goodbye, just a void where a life once hummed. Fragmentation hits worse. Imagine your favourite Venusaur, stored across unstable boxes, its attack stats bleeding into a wild Pidgey you catch later, turning it into a rampaging freak. Trainers shared horror stories on early forums. Saves corrupted mid-game. Entire teams replaced by missing no swarms. Hall of Fame records wiped clean. One wrong battle, and your digital menagerie unravels. Pokémon screaming silently as their existence splinters into glitches. This isn't abstract code talk. It's existential dread woven into every throw of the ball. Every time you yell Pikachu, return, you're gambling with their essence, shoving living beings into a system that devours the forgotten. Bill's PC, that cheerful interface with its pastel boxes, hides a graveyard of the fragmented, ghost types perhaps drawn to it instinctively, feeding on the digital decay. And, missing no? It's the warning. The spectre haunting Cinnabar's shores, where the gym's experimental labs hum nearby, pushing Pokeball tech to its limits. Surf there at dusk in your emulator, feel that chill as the screen warps, and you sense it. The machine is alive and it's haunted by what we've trapped inside. Those implications ripple outward, don't they? A world where your starter, that wide-eyed Charmander from Pallet Town, could one day flicker out as a fragmented horror, its fire reduced to crashing pixels. Battles become gambles, not just on type advantages, but on data integrity. Will that stored Blastoise emerge loyal, or as a vessel for something broken? The theory reframes every PC login as a descent into the uncanny valley, where biology's spark meets the cold grind of storage, and not everything returns unchanged. As these digital ghosts stir in the shadows of Red and Blue's code, we edge toward an even more clandestine failure lurking in the labs of Cinnabar Island itself. Chapter 4. The Mew project's first failure unveils the twisted experiments that birthed abominations far beyond mere corruption. Stay with me, because what they tried to clone next will shatter everything you thought you knew about the Pokémon at the top of the chain. What if that corrupted data echoing through the Pokéball networks wasn't born in isolation, but from the same reckless hunger that twisted flesh into forbidden life on Cinnabar Island? You can almost smell the acrid tang of charred paper and overheated machinery drifting from the Pokémon Mansion's crumbling halls, where scientists once chased the ultimate prize, Mew itself. Nestled on that volcanic speck in the sea, Cinnabar wasn't just a gym for fire tamers. Beneath its sun-baked surface, laboratories hummed with secrets no trainer was meant to uncover. Poke around the mansion's ruins today, and you'll find Ditto slithering through the shadows, its amorphous pink form pulsing like a heartbeat in the dark. Why there of all places? Why does this shapeshifter, capable of mimicking any Pokémon it touches, cling to the wreckage of experiments long buried? The answer ties back to Mew, the elusive ancestor whispered about in ancient tablets and hidden journals. Mew's DNA holds the blueprint for every Pokémon that ever drew breath, a genetic tapestry so vast, so perfect, it promised godlike power to anyone bold enough to unravel it. But perfection demands sacrifice, and on Cinnabar, those sacrifices piled high. Scientists, driven by an ethical void where curiosity devoured restraint, poured over vials of Mew's stolen cells. They spliced, they fused, they injected life into vats of bubbling proto-matter, all in pursuit of clones that could rival the original. Those early attempts, catastrophic failures, tubes shattered under the strain of unstable forms, spilling malformed tissue across sterile floors. What emerged wasn't Mew reborn, but abominations, limbless, mindless husks that twitched and dissolved before your eyes. The logs, if you could piece together the singed fragments, speak of batch after batch rejected, their genetic code too volatile, too incomplete. Yet in the discard piles, something stirred. Not death, but defiance, a sluggish ooze, aggregating from the scraps, gaining sentience through sheer accumulation of discarded potential. That's Ditto, you see, not a natural oddity, but a survivor of the scrap heap. Its body, a gooey conglomerate of failed Mew essence, explains everything. The transformability, a desperate echo of Mew's psychic mimicry, warped by imperfection. That blank stare, those stubby limbs, it mimics life without fully grasping it, forever chasing forms it can never truly inhabit. Found exclusively in the mansion's depths in the earliest games, Ditto guards the truth like a living scar, a reminder that ambition's refuse can think, feel, and hunger. Cinnabar's labs embodied that ethical vacuum perfectly. No oversight, no consent, just island isolation, fueling unchecked hubris. Blaine, the gym leader with his riddles and flames, turned a blind eye, or worse, profited from the shadows. Trainers washed ashore for badges, oblivious to the screams echoing from sub-levels, where Pokémon and prototypes blurred into one. The air down there would have been thick with ozone and regret, fluorescent lights flickering over cages of rejects that begged for release in ways words can't capture. These failures weren't footnotes. They paved the road to Mewtwo. The project evolved, learning from the slime that wouldn't die, refinements in stabilization, psychic amplification. They all stemmed from sifting through Ditto's resilient sludge. Imagine the late-night debates. Was this blob a dead end or a breakthrough? Poke its jelly-like surface, and you'd feel the latent power thrumming beneath, a whisper of Mew's infinite adaptability, trapped in perpetual infancy. Venturing deeper into the mansion, past the diary pages hinting at catastrophe, you confront the scale of it. Walls etched with claw marks from things that escaped too soon. Vials shattered, their contents long evaporated, leaving stains like blood on concrete. Ditto proliferates here because this is home, the primordial soup from which it crawled. It's not hiding, it's haunting, a gelatinous testament to what happens when you play God with genes and get only echoes. And in that haunting, a chill settles. These weren't isolated mishaps. The mansion burned, yes, but the knowledge endured, smuggled to safer shores. Mewtwo's birth years later, no accident. It was the polished iteration, forged in the fires of those first flops. Ditto endures as the unglamorous prelude, slinking through ruins, transforming into your Pokémon, only to remind you of fragility beneath the surface. As we peel back these layers of genetic graveyards, the echoes grow stranger still. Up next, Chapter 5, The Shadow and the Fairy, a theory that binds darkness to innocence in ways that'll make you question every haunt in the night, deep within the crumbling halls of Pokémon Mansion, where Ditto's gelatinous form slithered from shattered cloning vats. Something far more ethereal stood in the shadows. Whispers, among trainers spoke of ghosts not born from science, but from the very essence of Pokémon themselves. Souls untethered, lingering like fog over a forgotten graveyard. Consider Clefable, that whimsical creature from the original 151, often depicted dancing under moonlit skies. Its Pokédex entry paints it as a nocturnal wanderer, drawn to the glow of the full moon, where it sings melodies that summon shooting stars. Legends tie Clefairy and its evolutions to the lunar surface itself, beings who descended from the cosmos, their pink, winged bodies radiating a soft, otherworldly luminescence. You can almost see it now, plump cheeks curving into a perpetual smile, ears like crescent moons, stubby arms outstretched in eternal grace. Now hold that image steady and let it invert. Gengar emerges from the darkness, its form a haunting mirror, those same plump cheeks but hollowed into jagged maws of shadow, ears twisted into spiked silhouettes against the night. The wide, grinning eyes of Clefable become piercing red slits in Gengar's ghastly face. Turn Clefable upside down, and its silhouette aligns almost perfectly with Gengar's. Winged fairy flipped into floating spectre. It's no coincidence. Fans have pored over sprites from red and blue, mapping every curve, every contour. The symmetry screams of deliberate design, a yin-yang etched into the pixels of Generation 1. But why this pairing? Why tether the epitome of fairy-light to the king of ghost terrors? The theory runs deeper, rooted in ancient Pokémon lore, twisted through fan speculation. Clefable dwells in the moon's embrace, a beacon of purity and whimsy. Gengar, by contrast, haunts dreams, slipping through walls to sap life from the living. One brings joy with its songs, the other drains vitality in the dead of night. Proponents argue Gengar isn't just any ghost, it's the shadow self of Clefable, the dark remnant left when light steps into the void. Picture the cycle. Clefairy, those moon children, evolve under the stone's glow into Clefable, their bodies ascending towards celestial purity, yet not all make the journey unscathed. Some souls falter, their essence fracturing under the moon's unforgiving pull. What escapes isn't the full fairy form, but a wisp, a ghastly. Pokédex tells us ghastly is mostly gas, a spirit capable of merging with shadows, born from the aggregation of grudges or wandering spirits. Fans refine this. Those grudges belong to Clefairy, who couldn't evolve, their escaping souls condensing into these mischievous orbs, forever chasing the light they lost. Haunter follows, growing bolder, latching onto victims to evolve further, until it claims a physical shell and becomes Gengar, the perfected shadow, mocking its luminous twin. In Pokémon Tower, where ghosts congregate amid graves, you encounter ghastly lines in droves. Nearby, Clefairy roam Mount Moon, guardians of lunar meteorites. The proximity fuels the fire, light and dark, orbiting each other across Kanto's map. This duality permeates the original 151, doesn't it? Pikachu's electric spark against Voltorb's explosive mimicry. Jigglypuff's sleepy serenades versus Hypno's hypnotic sway. Venusaur's blooming vitality clashing with Oddish's nocturnal creep. Light Pokémon shine in the day, Butterfree fluttering in sun-dappled meadows, while their dark counterparts thrive at dusk, like Zubats swarming cave mouths. Generation 1 designers wove this balance into the code, in a 77 pure types split between elemental harmony and spectral opposition. Clefable and Gengar stand as the pinnacle, fairy glow eclipsed by ghost pallor. Evidence mounts in the games themselves. Mega evolutions later amplify it. Mega Gengar gains shadow claws that phase through dimensions, while Clefable's mega form sprouts feathered wings, soaring closer to its mythic moon home. Anime episodes hint too. Jessie once caught a Clefairy, only for ghost antics to plague Team Rocket soon after. Fan art proliferates, split-screen evolutions, where Clefable rises and Gengar descends in tandem. Yet the theory chills deeper still. If ghastly are Clefairy souls unbound, what does that say about evolution? Not growth, but a perilous shedding. Light sleuthing off darkness, or darkness devouring light. Trainers who force stones upon Clefairy risk unleashing these phantoms, dooming a fairy to eternal haunt. In the dead of night, when Gengar's laugh echoes from your Pokédex speaker, listen closely. It's not malice alone, it's longing, a shadow yearning for the moon it can never touch. As these spectral symmetries fade into the mist, another tragedy awaits in the bone-strewn wilds, one that will break your heart over the lonely cries of a certain orphaned Pokémon. Stay with me for Chapter 6, The Tragedy of Cubone. Shadows and grief seem intertwined in the Pokémon world, don't they? Just as Gengar lingers as a spectral echo of Clefable's lunar grace, another Pokémon emerges from the raw ache of loss, its bony helmet a perpetual shroud over eyes that have seen too much sorrow too soon. Cubone, the lonely Pokémon, he wanders misty routes and forgotten caves, clutching a skull that isn't just armor. It's a relic, a haunting memento etched with the final cries of its mother. Picture the scene in the Pokédex entries, those quiet whispers of lore that pull you deeper into the night. Cubone cries out on the eve of a full moon, the sound mimicking the wails of its departed parent. That skull it wears? Official descriptions claim it's the cranium of its own mother, passed down after her death in the wild. But how does that even work biologically? A hatchling Pokémon, barely weaned from survival's edge, somehow inherits and dons a full-grown skull like a crown of mourning. The proportions defy nature. Too large, too perfectly fitted, as if sculpted by hands unseen rather than born of bone alone. Skeptics point to evolution's cruel hand. Marowak, Cubone's fully evolved form, wields a bone club with savage precision, its own skull bare and battle-hardened. Yet Cubone clings to this maternal mask, refusing to shed it even as it grows. Is it instinct, a psychological crutch forged in trauma, or something darker, a ritual whispered among ghost-type scholars, where the orphaned young performs an ancient rite to bind the mother's spirit to its flesh? Imagine the ritual under a blood moon, the Joey-like Cubone, trembling in the undergrowth, anointing the skull with tears that glow faintly purple, invoking a pact that lets the dead watch over the living. The skull doesn't just protect, it pulses with residual life force, granting Cubone's moves an eerie edge, like Bonemerang that returns unerringly, guided by a spectral gaze from within. This theory gains traction when you trace the lines back to Kangaskhan, the parent Pokémon, whose pouch cradles a Joey in eternal vigilance. What if Cubone isn't a distinct species at all, but a Kangaskhan orphan, stripped of its nurturing world by poachers, predators, or the harsh wilds? The visual parallels hit hard. The hunched posture, the club-like bone-tail echoing Marowak's weapon, the primal cries that pierce the night. Kangaskhan's Joey peeks from the pouch, small and vulnerable, much like early Cubone sprites huddled in grief. Lose the mother, and the Joey doesn't just grieve, it transforms. Evolution hijacked by survival's desperate alchemy. Grief as an evolutionary catalyst. In the Pokémon ecosystem, where bonds forge power, Cubone's path warps under emotional duress. Normal Kangaskhan evolves steadily, pouch intact, and family whole, but orphan it, and the Joey scavenges the mother's remains. The skull becoming a symbiotic shell that accelerates growth into Marowak. Alolan Marowak, fire and ghost infused, carries flames from the pyre of its loss, purifying bone through spectral fire. This isn't mere adaptation, it's mutation born of mourning, a missing link that ties solitary wanderers like Cubone to the maternal giants roaming savannas. Delve deeper into the ecosystem, and the threads unravel further. Marowak tribes haunt volcanic crags and misty highlands, their bone weapons harvested from fallen kin, a cycle of death and rebirth. But Cubone sightings cluster near Kangaskhan nests, rare overlaps in games like Pokémon Red and Blue, where the lonely Pokémon drifts toward pouch-bearing herds, as if drawn by phantom milk scents. Fan dissections of sprite data reveal subtle animations. Cubone's skull tilts toward Kangaskhan during encounters, a silent plea. And in the anime, fleeting shots of Cubone shadowing a Kangaskhan mother hint at adoption attempts, only for the orphan to flee, skull weighing heavier than any embrace. What seals this tragedy? The evolution trigger. Cubone levels up alone, shedding juvenile fears to become Marowak. But the skull stays, a vow unbroken. Trade evolutions mimic separation anxiety. Pass it to another trainer, and it hardens into adulthood, mirroring the Joey's forced independence. In the wild, fully evolved Marowak appear without helmets, suggesting they eventually lay their burdens to rest, founding new lines. Yet the cycle persists. New orphans claim fresh skulls, perpetuating the curse. This web extends to broader lore. Executor's coconut heads sprout from seeds, but Cubone's helmet evokes parasitic growth. Grief as a seed that blooms into power. Ties to ghost types abound. Cubone's mega evolution in later games channels pure hauntings, skull aglow with ethereal energy. Even Alolan forms nod to cultural rituals, where bones honor the dead, blurring biology and belief. The Pokémon world hides these fractures beneath vibrant battles, but pause amid the Pokédex poetry, and you feel the chill. A child Pokémon, forever masked, tapping a drum of bone to summon storms of sorrow. Is it impossibility, ritual, or redirected lineage from Kangaskhan's pouch? The evidence mounts, each cry a clue in the fog. As these orphaned echoes fade into the mist, we turn our gaze to illusions that blur the line between human and Pokémon entirely. In Chapter 7, The Illusion of Humanity, uncover the deceptions lurking in plain sight, where trusted faces might hide something far more primal. Stay with me. You won't want to blink. If the bond between a mother Marowak and her orphaned Cubone child blurs the line between grief and primal survival, what happens when that divide stretches even further into the heart of what we call human? In the shadowed halls of Team Plasma's ideals, N emerges not as a leader, but as something profoundly other. His voice echoes through the games like a whisper from the wild, commanding Pokémon with a fluency no trainer should possess. You hear it in the way they respond to him, not with obedience born of Pokeballs, but with a recognition deeper than words, as if he's speaking their ancient tongue. Picture N standing amid a chorus of Zubats and Woobats in the depths of Chargestone Cave, his pale face illuminated by faint electric pulses. He doesn't shout commands or flash a badge, he murmurs and they swarm toward him, like old friends reuniting after years apart. Trainers watch in stunned silence as legendary Pokémon like Zekrom bow without a fight, drawn to his presence as moths to a hidden flame. This isn't training, it's communion. N claims he was raised among Pokémon, isolated by his father Getsis in a castle surrounded by captive creatures. Their cries his lullabies, their instincts his education. But how does a human child absorb that so completely, emerging with eyes that pierce souls and a voice that sways the feral hearts of beasts? Whispers among fans point to something darker beneath that porcelain skin. Our N's appearance alone raises eyebrows. His wild cascade of green hair mirrors the jagged mane of a Zoroark, those illusion-weaving masters of deception. His slender frame, sharp features, the way his gaze shifts like smoke in the wind, it all evokes the Pokémon's eerie grace, and the encounters, they're too precise to ignore. Venture into Mistralton Cave before facing N, and a Zoroark lurks there, waiting. Defeat it, and fragments of memory flood N's mind when you meet him moments later. Flashbacks of a life not his own, or perhaps too much his own. Step away after your confrontation, return to the cave, and the Zoroark reappears, as if it shed a skin, and walked among you in human guise. Getsis, that venomous puppeteer, looms over it all. He molds N into Plasma's kingpin, preaching liberation while plotting domination. He's using his son as a figurehead to rally the masses. But what if Ghetsis discovered a Zoroark cub, orphaned and malleable, and twisted it with forbidden arts? Zoroark's signature ability, illusion, lets it cloak itself perfectly as anything or anyone. Imagine Ghetsis capturing one, experimenting in those sterile plasma labs, imprinting human memories, human speech until it believed its own lie. N's breakdowns, his fractured recollections of a Pokémon-filled childhood, they fit a creature caught between forms, instincts clawing against imposed humanity. When N releases hundreds of Pokémon at the game's climax, it's not rebellion, it's a call home, a shedding of chains both real and illusory. Those flashbacks hit hardest. Interact with a Zoroark and N recoils, visions assaulting him, of misty forests, a mother's protective snarl. The raw pulse of pack loyalty. Is this buried trauma from Ghetsis' cruelty or echoes of a true origin? Zoroark mothers fiercely guard their young, illusions their shield against the world. N's obsession with rescuing Pokémon mirrors that ferocity. His speech is laced with an animal's unfiltered truth. He sees trainers as abusers, Pokeballs as prisons, because to him, the wild is identity, not savagery. Fans delve deeper. Zoroark evolved from Zorua at level 30, a threshold of maturity. N, forever youthful, never ages beyond that enigma, perhaps frozen in deception, his human shell cracking under the weight of instinct. This theory unravels the Pokémon world's fragile humanity. N walks the razor edge where consciousness frays, human reason tangled with Pokémon drive. Does he dream in colours we can't see? Hunger for hunts under full moons? His final words to you, the player, pled for understanding. Humans and Pokémon, they can never truly understand each other. But what if he knows this because he's lived both sides? Ghetsis discards him like a broken tool, sensing the illusion's fray, leaving N to wander as a ghost in green. The lines blur until you question every face. Trainer, rival, friend. Are we all just illusions, hiding wild hearts beneath civilized veneers? As these deceptions peel back, revealing how easily identity can shatter, we turn to faces that smile from every Pokémon Center and patrol every street, eternally the same, whispering secrets of replication gone wrong. Up next, Chapter 8, The Joy of Cloning, where uniformity hides a chilling experiment that might explain why some helpers never change. Before we dive deeper into this incredible journey, I'm curious, where in the world are you watching this from? Drop a comment below and let our global community know. And if you're finding this as mind-blowing as I am, hit that like button to help more people discover this story. If N's human form is nothing more than Zoroark's masterful illusion, a shape-shifted veil over something wild and untamed, then consider the public faces of the Pokémon world that never change, no matter how far you roam. Across every corner of Kanto's verdant gyms, Johto's foggy trails, Huen's volcanic shores, Sinnoh's snowy peaks, Unova's urban sprawl, Kalos's elegant boulevards, Alola's tropical islands, and even Galar's rugged moors, one woman greets every weary trainer with the same soft pink hair, the same crisp white uniform, the same unwavering smile. Nurse Joy, and hot on her heels patrolling those same streets with identical blue hair, stern badges gleaming under the sun, comes Officer Jenny. Sisters? Cousins? No, their faces are carbon copies, down to the last eyelash, appearing in every town, every outpost, without a single variation. You step into a Pokémon Center in Viridian City. The automatic doors whoosh open to that familiar chime, and there she is, Nurse Joy, perched behind the counter, her Chansey waddling at her side, ready to heal your battered team with a potion's glow and a gentle word. Trek 1,000 miles to Ecrotake, and it's her again, same voice calling your name over the intercom, same hands cradling your fainted Pikachu as if no distance has passed. Fly to Laver City in Kalos, and the script repeats. the pink curls framing her face, the starched apron, the quiet efficiency that feels almost too perfect. Officers Jenny mirror this everywhere, directing traffic in Saffron with a whistle's sharp tweet, chasing thieves through Goldenrod's alleys on her motorcycle's roar, issuing fines in Lumiose with that unyielding gaze, hundreds of them, thousands perhaps, all identical, all synchronized in their roles, like gears in some vast unseen machine. What sustains this endless replication? Fans whisper of a government-backed cloning initiative, a shadowy program designed to keep the infrastructure of the Pokémon world humming without fail. Pokémon centers must operate around the clock, healing squads fresh from brutal league battles, reversing the sting of poison jabs or the scorch of flamethrowers. Police stations can't afford downtime. Routes teem with poachers, Team Rocket grunts, and wild outbreaks that demand instant response. In a world where trainers vanish into caves for weeks and regions span continents, how else to staff every remote outpost, every lonely Pokemart junction? Natural families couldn't multiply fast enough, couldn't match the exponential growth of human settlements fueled by Pokédex quests and badge hunts. Enter cloning. Sterile labs hidden beneath Alliance headquarters, vats bubbling with replicated DNA, churning out perfect copies, programmed for loyalty and precision. The Pokémon League, that pinnacle of power, pours funding into it, ensuring no center closes, no patrol falters. Its efficiency incarnate, a network of identical sentinels holding the chaos of pocket monsters at bay. This theory threads back to the darkest roots of Pokémon science, the very labs that birthed Mewtwo. Remember the first movie where scientists in a storm-lashed facility twisted Mew's genes into a psychic storm of rage and power? Cloning wasn't born there, it predates the catastrophe. Nurse Joy's family line, some say, traces straight to those pioneers. Early experiments in the Cinnabar Mansion, that crumbling ruin on the island's edge, where charred journals hint at genetic tampering gone awry. Ditto slithered from those failures, a shapeless echo of Mew, but before that, human trials. The Joys volunteered, or were selected, their DNA stable, their temperaments ideal for caregiving. Scaled up, refined through cycles of growth tanks and neural imprints, they became the backbone of healing networks. Officer Jenny's followed, engineered for enforcement, their cycles of Arcanine patrols hard-coded into every cell. It's no coincidence Mewtwo's creators echoed these methods. They built on a foundation laid by the Joys themselves, turning human uniformity into a weaponized god. Feel the chill in that uniformity, the way it smooths over the Pokémon world's jagged edges. Public servants aren't individuals here, they're archetypes, stamped out like badges from a factory press. No unique scars from a Gyarados rampage, no family photos tucked in lockers, no whispered dreams of leaving the badge for a quiet life in Pallet Town. They greet you with scripted warmth, their eyes holding a glassy perfection that never tires, never questions the endless parade of trainers filing through. What happens when a clone malfunctions? Does a Nurse Joy ever stare too long at her reflection, wondering why her sisters fill every mirror? Do Jennies exchange glances in quiet precincts, sensing the hollowness in their identical strides? The Pokémon world thrives on this sameness, but peel it back, and you glimpse a dystopia, a society so reliant on replication that humanity blurs into template, individuality sacrificed on the altar of endless service. Governments don't just fund it, they mandate it, weaving control into the genome, ensuring the masses see only reassuring faces while deeper experiments rage unchecked. Yet this clonal perfection hides cracks, glitches in the anime, where a Joy or Jenny slips, mentioning cousins with a flicker of unease, or reacting to personal slights as if memory bleeds between copies. Fan dissections of code in older games reveal sprite efficiencies, recycling the same models to save memory. But what if that's the surface? Beneath lies a program mirroring real genetic archives where Joy and Jenny DNA serves as the stable base for bolder creations. It explains their omnipresence in spin-offs too, from mystery dungeon mazes to ranger patrols. Always the same, always ready. The unease settles deeper when you realise no other professions boast this. Chefs vary, sailors differ, but healers and law, locked in eternal duplication. It's a quiet horror, this army of one, staffing a world teetering on wild power, their smiles the thinnest veil over engineered obedience. As we emerge from the clonal nurseries, pulsing with replicated heartbeats, a new enigma awaits, one where the body itself plays decoy, hiding the true form in plain sight. Next, the secrets of the decoy body pull us further into the shadows. Yeah, if Nurse Joy and Officer Jenny represent the cold precision of human cloning, designed to replicate perfection across generations, then Wobbuffet's form whispers of something far more primal, a creature that evolved its own illusion of invulnerability right into its flesh. That towering blue bulk, swaying like a punching bag in the wind, isn't the real Wobbuffet at all. No, the true essence hides in plain sight, tucked behind on a slender, vulnerable tail. Picture it emerging from tall grass in Johto's dim caves, the body inflating slightly as it senses danger, drawing every eye while that tail quivers, eyes wide and alert, scanning the shadows. Fans have long puzzled over this design, piecing together Pokédex clues that paint a picture of deception born from necessity. Wobbuffet doesn't flinch from blows that would shatter lesser Pokémon. Punches land square on its rubbery torso, psychic pulses ripple through its frame, and it just endures. It absorbs the punishment, countering with a delayed blast of raw psychic force, as if the pain fuels it. But touch that tail, and the reaction is instant, explosive terror. It whips around, shielding the appendage with its bulk, desperate to keep it from harm. Why this singular weakness in an otherwise unyielding form? The theory cuts deep. The tail houses the brain, the core nervous system, the fragile heart of a psychic being, too delicate for the brutal world of wild battles. Think about the biology for a moment. Psychic Pokémon often wield immense power from afar, manipulating minds and matter without risking their bodies. But Wobbuffet? It's evolved, or perhaps devolved, into a frontline fighter, its intelligence demanding protection in the chaos of close combat. A massive inflatable decoy body serves as the perfect shield, luring attacks away from the real vulnerability. That blue expanse, soft and bouncy, mimics sentience with its own simplistic eyes and mouth, fooling predators into thinking they've cornered the prize. Meanwhile, the tail with its sharper, more expressive black eyes and vivid red mouth remains the seat of true awareness, watching, calculating, waiting to unleash hell when the moment ripens. Those tail eyes aren't mere decoration. They're piercing, almost accusatory, framed by thick black lids that blink independently of the body's slack expression. In battles, they dart and focus, while the front facade stares blankly ahead, absorbing hits like a lifeless dummy. Evolutionary logic screams decoy. For a psychic entity whose power stems from mental fragility, exposing the brain would be suicide. Instead, Wobbuffet mirrors the survival tactics of deep-sea creatures or desert lizards, flashy distractions that buy time for the vital organs to regroup. Johto's rugged terrain, riddled with aggressive wild packs and opportunistic trainers, would forge such a survivor, one that sacrifices its outer shell to preserve the mind within. Delve into the Pokédex entries and the obsession with the tail becomes chillingly clear. It describes Wobbuffet as unable to stop its body from bouncing once motion starts, a helpless jiggle that exposes the tail if not carefully managed. Trainers must guard it fiercely, or the creature panics, fleeing into caves to hide. In the anime, watch Jesse's Wobbuffet. It mirrors every command with that tail's eager gaze, the body little more than a swaying prop. Strike the tail experimentally in games, and the damage skyrockets, confirming what fans suspected. This isn't a Pokémon with a weak point. It's a brain piloting a disposable hull. Imagine the life cycle unfolding in those humid Johto wilds. Juveniles start small, tails prominent and exposed, learning quickly to inflate their nascent bodies as camouflage among blue-hued rocks. Adults grow massive, the decoy so convincing that rivals waste energy battering it, only for the tail's psychic retaliation to end the fight. It's a genius ruse, honed over eons, turning what should be a liability into dominance. No wonder it endures flames licking its sides, electric shocks convulsing its form. It feels none of it there. The tail, though, throbs with every neuron, every psychic synapse screaming at the slightest threat. This decoy persona isn't just physical, it's behavioural. Wobbuffet rarely initiates, content to react, mirroring opponents like a psychic sponge. That passivity protects the tail's intellect, forcing enemies to commit first, exhausting themselves on the false front. For a type vulnerable to dark and bug assaults that pierce mental defences, this setup is biological armour plating. Fans connect it to Winort, its pre-evolution, whose tail-dominant form hints at the lineage, babies already prioritising the brain's safety, tumbling in groups to shield each other's weak spots. Yet cracks in the illusion intrigue even more. Why the black shock pattern on the body, echoing the tail's markings? Mimicry, perhaps, to blur the lines further, or vestigial remnants from ancestors less adept at the ruse. In competitive play, savvy trainers exploit it, feinting at the body to draw the tail out, landing the decisive blow. But in the wild, this strategy endures, a testament to nature's cunning over brute force. As we peel back these layers of Pokémon physiology, from cloned humans to living decoys, the line between ally and survival machine blurs further. What other secrets lurk in plain sight, demanding we question the world's hunger beneath the surface? Stay with me for Chapter 10, The Hunger of the World, where we uncover how Pokémon might not just fight for us, but feed something far darker. Wobbuffet's tail hides more than just its brain. It's a reminder that, in the Pokémon world, certain parts are worth protecting at all costs, because survival often hinges on what others hunger for. You've felt that pull before, haven't you? The quiet unease when you realise these creatures aren't just partners in battle, but links in a vast unspoken chain where humans sit at the top. Consider the markets of Celadon City, bustling under neon lights, with stalls piled high, not just with potions and Pokeballs, but cuts of meat that glisten under the lanterns. Tenderloins from Miltank, smoked fillets from Magikarp, ribs slow roasted from Tauros herds roaming the plains. In this world, Pokémon sustain us. They're the backbone of every meal, from the street vendors' sizzling skewers in saffron to the lavish banquets in the Pokémon League Elite's private halls. Early anime episodes slipped in glimpses of this reality, a farmer sharpening his knife over a plump Farfetch'd, or fishermen hauling nets heavy with wriggling Magikarp destined for the fry. It's not fantasy, it's the rhythm of life there, where Pokeballs capture companionship, but plates capture necessity. And no Pokemon embodies that brutal edge quite like Farfetch'd. Picture it, a humble duckling Pokemon, always depicted clutching a single leek like a talisman, waddling through misty wetlands with its green stalk raised high. But dig into the lore and the story turns grim. Once far-fetched flocks darkened the skies over Kanto's rivers, their savoury flesh a staple that fed generations. Hunters pursued them relentlessly, clubs raised, arrows knocked, until the population dwindled to whispers. Now they're so rare that spotting one feels like unearthing a relic. Pokédex entries hint at it outright, calling them rarely seen because overhunting pushed them to the brink of oblivion. That leek? Maybe it's not just a weapon or a flavour enhancer. Maybe it's camouflage, a desperate bid to blend into the reeds while poachers prowl. You can almost hear the echoes of those hunts, the splash of feathers on water, the final quacks fading into legend. Yet the world didn't stop eating. Demand shifted, and enter the slowpoke tail trade, a shadowy commerce that blurs every line between pet and protein. In Azalea Town, deep in Giotto's humid forests, you'll find slowpoke lounging by the shores, their tails twitching lazily in the current. Fishermen don't net the bodies. They slice off those tails, which fetch astronomical prices as a delicacy, chewy, regenerative stubs that regrow in days, turning agony into profit. Taverns serve them simmered in broth prized for a sweetness that lingers, like forbidden fruit. But here's the ambiguity that keeps you awake. Slowpoke barely react. They yawn through the cut, pink flesh parting without a cry, as if pain is a distant dream. Is it mercy or monstrosity? Trainers bond with slowpoke as loyal companions, evolving them into mighty slowkings. Yet markets thrive on their harvest. Rights groups whisper in the alleys. Do Pokémon feel the loss? Or is this symbiosis, a world where tails trade hands like currency, and no one questions the slow blink of those vacant eyes? This balance defines everything. Your Pikachu curls at your feet, a spark of joy, while across the region, butchers carve Magmortar haunches for winter stews. Miltank provide milk that nourishes champions, but orphaned calves end up in pies. It's a delicate dance. Trainers form unbreakable bonds, gyms honour the fighters, yet the food chain coils beneath it all. Wild herds thin out from raids, farms breed stock Pokémon by the thousand, and legends persist of ancient feasts where Rayquaza roasts fed kings. Moral lines shift like sand. A far-fetched in your party is family, but wild. Fair game. Slowpoke tails fund Team Rocket Ops, or orphanages alike. You've battled beside these beings, felt their trust, but at dawn, breakfast waits. Eggs from execute clusters, bacon from Stoutland litters. It's companionship woven into consumption. A world that feeds on its wonders without fully devouring the magic. What happens when that hunger stems from something cataclysmic, a fallout that birthed the beasts themselves? In our next chapter, the nuclear fallout of 2033, we'll uncover how one blast might have rewritten the food chain forever, turning paradise into a radioactive pantry you won't believe. If far-fetched clings to existence on the brink of oblivion, hunted for its tender flesh, consider this. What desperate cataclysm birthed these creatures in the first place, twisting ordinary beasts into something unrecognizable, something powerful enough to challenge humanity itself? In 2033, the world teetered and shattered, a cascade of nuclear detonations born from escalating global tensions, blanketed continents in fire and ash. Cities vaporized in seconds, their steel skeletons melting into glowing rivers that scarred the earth. Radiation seeped into every crack, every riverbed, rewriting the code of life at its most fundamental level. Animals didn't just die, they transformed. Survivors emerged from the rubble, their bodies warped by the invisible poison, growing larger, fiercer, sprouting abilities no natural evolution could explain. You can trace the first whispers of these monsters back to that exact moment. Eyewitness accounts from the fringes of the blast zones, pieced together from declassified logs and survivor diaries, describe herds of deer with antlers crackling like live wires, birds plummeting from toxic skies only to rise again as swirling vortices of venomous gas. Folklore from those early days calls them omens, harbingers of the end times, but the theory cuts deeper. These were the proto-Pokémon, animals mutated beyond recognition, the genesis of a world where humans no longer reign supreme. Look at Grimer, that oozing sludge pile slithering through urban ruins. Its body is industrial effluent given form, toxic waste from factories that choked the pre-war world, now fused with radioactive isotopes. Grimer doesn't eat, it absorbs, dissolving metal and flesh alike into its viscous mass. Pokédex entries hint at its origins in polluted waters, But connect the dots to 2033. Overflowing chemical plants near detonation sites, their contents irradiated and alive, bubbling up as the first Grimer colonies. They multiply in sewers and landfills, a living reminder that humanity's refuse refused to stay dead. Then there's coughing, the hovering orb of noxious fumes, belching purple clouds that choke the air. Picture the smog-choked skies post-fallout. Factories belching their last before collapse, mixing with fallout particles to birth these gaseous horrors. Coughing floats because it's lighter than the poisoned atmosphere it thrives in, its skull-like markings etched by calcium deposits from irradiated bones. In the Pokémon world, you'll find them clustered around power plants and refineries, drawn to the echoes of their birthplace. Facilities that mirrored the industrial heartlands turned to craters in 2033. Voltorb takes it further, a mimicry of human ingenuity gone lethal. Those smooth spherical shells, Pokeballs corrupted by the blast, or perhaps batteries from the grid, exposed to gamma rays and reanimating as aggressive sentinels. Voltorb detonates on contact, discharging stored energy in arcs of electricity, a perfect analogue to the EMP pulses and chain reactions that felled civilizations. Wild Voltorb infest abandoned tech graveyards, discharging shocks at anything that moves, as if programmed to guard the ruins of the old world from intruders. This theory paints the Pokémon universe not as a vibrant paradise, but a scarred Earth clawing back from apocalypse. The regions you explore, Kanto's overgrown metropolises, Johto's fog-shrouded wilds, their recovery zones, verdant facades over irradiated soil. Gym leaders wield Pokémon like weapons because taming them was humanity's first act of reclamation, turning mutants from predators into partners. Professor Oak's lab in Pallet Town, built on the outskirts of a former blast radius, cataloguing species born from the fallout. Even Mewtwo, the ultimate clone, echoes the hubris of pre-war genetic tampering, accelerated by radiation. Radiation doesn't fade quietly. It lingers, forcing adaptations that defy biology. Pokémon types emerge from this chaos, electric from overloaded power lines, poison from chemical soups, ghost from souls too stubborn to pass on. Legendary Pokémon? Colossal mutants, kaiju-scale survivors of Ground Zero, like Zapdos crackling from storm cells supercharged by fallout, or Mewtwo's psychic rage, a byproduct of mass human trauma encoded in the ether. Survivors adapted too. Human society rebuilt around these new overlords. Pokeballs invented from salvaged war tech to contain the beasts rather than nuke them further. The absence of large-scale wars in Pokémon lore? A fragile peace enforced by the mutual understanding that another detonation would unleash horrors beyond control. Villages cluster near ley lines of stable mutations where Pokémon evolve predictably, away from hot zones still simmering centuries later. But cracks appear everywhere, the unowned script etched into ancient ruins, warnings from pre-fallout civilizations, or cries from the collective unconscious of mutated minds. Distortion World, a warped pocket dimension born from experimental nukes that tore space-time. Even the Pokédex's clinical tone masks the terror. Entries laced with observations of aggression, toxicity, instability, all hallmarks of acute radiation syndrome writ large. Grimer evolves into Mook, a hulking sludge beast that engulfs vehicles whole, its toxins potent enough to melt steel, straight out of hazard reports from 2033 cleanup crews who vanished into similar masses. Coughing's wheezing form, twin skulls fused in agony, mirrors conjoined mutations seen in lab animals exposed to cesium. Voltorb's electrode kin roll like runaway warheads, exploding in frenzied packs, echoing the panic of missile silos gone autonomous. This post-apocalyptic lens reframes everything you've cherished. Ash Ketchum's endless journey, a rite of passage in a world where bonding with mutants proves your worth as a rebuild citizen. Team Rocket's schemes? Scavengers hoarding pre-war relics. Giovanni, perhaps a warlord from the old regime. The Pokémon League? A coliseum to cull the weak, ensuring only the strongest mutants propagate. As the dust settled over generations, nature reclaimed dominance, but humanity persists in the shadows, whispering theories in the night. What if the stars themselves hold the next secret? A desperate exodus chronicled in Chapter 12. The colonization of the stars, where whispers of alien worlds and forsaken colonies beckon you deeper into the void. Yeah, what if that nuclear cataclysm of 2033 didn't birth Pokémon on our world at all, but forced the survivors of Earth to flee into the void, crash landing on a distant planet already teeming with creatures far stranger than any mutation? Consider the fossil record of the Pokémon world itself. Layers upon layers of stone etched with the bones of ancient beasts, Carbotops scuttling through primordial seas, Aerodactyl soaring over volcanic skies, Omanite drifting in forgotten oceans. These relics stretch back millions of years, painting a vivid tapestry of evolution unbound by human hands. Yet search those same strata for signs of our kind, and you find nothing. No primitive tools, no scattered hearths, no skeletal remains of Homo sapiens, or even our upright ancestors. Humans simply appear, fully formed, viewing the most recent deposits as if dropped from the heavens overnight. This abrupt entry into the timeline defies every law of gradual evolution we've come to expect. No missing links, no migratory trails from distant continents, just a void. Then us, building cities, taming beasts, rewriting the land in our image. Scholars of Pokémon lore whisper that this gap isn't a flaw in the record, but a clue to our true origins. We weren't born here. We colonized this world, starfarers from a dying Earth, propelled by technologies lost to time. Look to the skies for the evidence. Clefairy, those ethereal moon dwellers, with their glowing stones that mimic lunar craters. Legends speak of them, descending in silvery ships during eclipses, their bodies adapted to vacuum and radiation, eyes wide as if forever gazing at the cosmos. Pokédex entries describe them dancing under moonlight, summoning meteorites that crash like homing beacons. Are these not the hallmarks of interstellar travelers, refugees from a barren rock orbiting some forgotten star? Clefairy didn't evolve here. They arrived soft and pink, bearers of secrets from the stars. Then there's Deoxys, the ultimate enigma, a DNA helix twisted into living form, born from a space virus that warped under cosmic rays. It shifts shapes at will, crystalline arms slicing through atmospheres, regenerating from near annihilation. Deoxys doesn't belong to this planet's ecology. Its Pokédex origin screams extraterrestrial intervention, a probe or pathogen unleashed during some ancient voyage. Sightings cluster near meteor crash sites, where it hovers scanning as if awaiting a signal from home. These aren't myths. They're breadcrumbs of high-tech space travel, etched into the very DNA of the world we claim. And the Ultra Beasts, portals ripping open in Alola's skies, disgorging horrors like Nihiligo, with its jellyfish tentacles pulsing otherworldly venom, or Buzzwole flexing muscles pumped with alien steroids. They pour from ultra space, dimensions parallel yet profoundly alien, their bodies defying terrestrial physics. Kartana slices mountains with paper-thin blades. Pheromosa dances at speeds that blur reality. These invaders aren't random, they're the planet's original guardians. Warped sentinels evolved in isolation, long before human boots scarred the soil. Ultra Megalopolis, that ruined mirror world, hints at their domain, a realm of perpetual twilight, where megastructures loom like skeletal fingers toward the stars. Humans, in this view, or are the interlopers. Picture colossal arcs hurtling through wormholes, engines fueled by mega energy, or Z-power, their hulls battered by asteroid storms. Earth, ravaged beyond repair, perhaps by that very nuclear fallout we traced last time, spits out its last sons and daughters. They pierce the veil of this Pokémon world, crash in Kanto's shadowed valleys or Sinnoh's icy peaks, their tech fusing with local anomalies. Pokeballs, repurposed stasis pods from the Exodus fleet. The Pokémon League, a fragile truce to govern the conquered. This alternate world theory binds it all together. Not parallel dimensions, but a literal refugee saga. Earthlings, hardened by apocalypse, arrive in a land ruled by monsters. Clefairy scout from the moon. Deoxys probe the newcomers' biology. Ultra beasts lash out from rifts torn by the invasion. Here humans adapt ruthlessly, capturing, training, breeding these natives into servitude. Why else do Pokémon obey us so implicitly, their wills bent by devices echoing starship controls? Fossil Pokémon revive not from whimsy, but as weapons dredged from the planet's defiant past, reminders of what we subdued. Delve deeper, and the signs multiply. Mewtwo's creation in a Cinnabar lab, echoes of gene-splicing tech salvaged from colony ships. The distortion world of Giratina, a hyperspace breach from our reckless warp drives. Even Arceus, the creator god, feels like a cosmic architect witnessing the infestation, its plates humming with judgment. Regions like Galar, with its Dynamax dens pulsing underground energy. Buried landing sites, still radioactive from fusion drives. The sudden human fossils align perfectly. No precursors because there were none. We materialized around 3,000 years ago, give or take, coinciding with the Great War whispers from earlier theories, a clash of colonists against the starborn incumbents. Bloodlines like the Elite Four descend from those first captains, their Pokémon teams hoarding the last fragments of interstellar might. Red, Blue, Ash, they're not trainers, they're successors to a galactic diaspora, blind to their heritage, yet cracks appear in our dominion. Legendaries stir, Lunala ferrying Clefairy back to the moon, Necrozma devouring light like a black hole engine. Ultra beasts breach more frequently, as if the planet remembers. What happens when the original inhabitants reclaim their world? When Deoxys decodes our fabricated history? Or an ultra wormhole swallows Pallet Town whole? This colonization narrative reframes everything. Pokémon aren't our playthings. They're the displaced sovereigns, enduring our empire with quiet fury. The stars call them home, and perhaps us too. Back to the ashes we fled. As these cosmic threads unravel, prepare yourself for Chapter 13, the mimicry of love, where a ghost's desperate disguise hides a heartbreak that pierces straight to the soul of popularity itself. While humans piece together their extraterrestrial origins from ancient fossils and whispers of interstellar voyages, a far more intimate alienation haunted the misty cliffs and forgotten attics of Alola. Mimikyu emerged not as a conqueror or a mutant, but as a shadow desperate for connection, stitching together a disguise from the most beloved icon in the Pokémon world, Pikachu. You can almost feel the damp chill of those hidden alcoves where Mimikyu first huddled, its formless body trembling under moonlight filtering through cracked stone. This ghost fairy type, introduced in the sun-drenched 7th generation, doesn't evolve from anything familiar. It's a standalone enigma, born from loneliness so profound it reshapes its very existence. Picture the ragged cloth it scavenges, yellowed and frayed, clumsily sewn into the shape of those perky ears, the rosy cheeks, the lightning bolt tail. Every stitch screams a plea. Notice me, love me, just like you love him. Pikachu's fame precedes it everywhere, from Kanto's bustling gyms to the global spotlight of Ash's eternal companion. Trainers flock to that electric spark, trading cards, plushies, and dreams of victory. Mimikyu sees it all from the periphery, those beady black eyes peeking from beneath its hood, yearning to step into that warmth. Fan theories latch onto this obsession, suggesting Mimikyu's mimicry isn't mere vanity, but a calculated bid for survival in a world that equates popularity with safety. In the wilds of Alola, where ghost types lurk unseen, blending in as Pikachu means invitations to battle, pats on the head, maybe even a Pokeball's embrace. Rejection for Mimikyu isn't just heartbreak, it's oblivion. But peel back that rag even a fraction, and the illusion shatters into something lethal. Pokédex entries warn of it plainly. Anyone who glimpses what's underneath meets a swift, inexplicable end. Theories swirl around this curse like fog off Mount Lanakila. Some say the true Mimikyu is a grotesque horror, its ectoplasmic flesh pulsating with necrotic energy. Evolved not through stone or trade, but through centuries of isolation, twisting its fairy essence into something venomous. One glimpse triggers a psychic backlash, a spectral venom that corrodes the soul, leaving victims withered husks before dawn. It's no accident. This deadliness guards the vulnerability at its core. Mimikyu can't risk exposure, not when its real form repulses everything it craves. Delve deeper, and you uncover the psychological fracture. In the anime, Mimikyu's debut tugs at the heartstrings. It joins Ash's team, only to lash out in fits of rage when its disguise tears, Pikachu itself bearing the brunt. Why? Jealousy, yes, but laced with terror. Fan interpretations paint Mimikyu as the ultimate outcast, a Pokémon whose ghost typing stems from a death wish unfulfilled, doomed to haunt the living without joining them. Loneliness manifests physically, here. Without friends, Mimikyu's body unravels, the rag its only lifeline. Theories propose it's a survival mechanism honed by evolution. In Alola's competitive ecosystem, solitary Pokémon fade into non-existence, preyed upon or forgotten. By aping Pikachu, it tricks the world into reciprocity, forging bonds that stave off the void. Consider the rituals it performs alone at night, mending its costume by lantern light, whispering to itself in raspy breaths that echo off cavern walls. Each repair is a vow renewed, a barrier against the ache that gnaws deeper than any attack. Psychologists of the Pokémon world, those armchair theorists on forums and streams, liken it to human conditions. A spectral mirror to social anxiety amplified to fatal extremes. Mimikyu doesn't just want popularity, it needs it like oxygen, its fairy heart pulsing with unrequited longing. One tear in the fabric, one curious glance and the mask crumbles, revealing not rage but a plea silenced by instinctual violence. This duality haunts every encounter. Trainers who capture Mimikyu often share tales of its eerie loyalty, shadowing them silently, rag pristine, until a battle rips it open. Then comes the frenzy, the ghostly wail that chills the air, forcing retreats or worse. Fan lore expands this into tragedy. What if Mimikyu's attacks stem from shame, a reflexive strike to preserve the lie? Its disguise ability in battles underscores it, absorbing one hit unscathed, the rag shredding to expose raw power beneath. But in lore, that exposure dooms the bond. Pikachu gets cheers, Mimikyu gets coffins. Alola's lore amplifies the pathos, islands steeped in myth, where Tapu guardians watch indifferently, leaving Mimikyu to scavenge affection from tourists snapping photos of wild Pikachu lookalikes. Theories tie it to regional ghosts, suggesting Mimikyu arose from shipwrecked spirits, forever adrift, latching onto the one form that promises harbour. Its cry, a muffled Mimikyu, Hami, mimics Pikachu's Pika, a vocal disguise as desperate as the cloth. You hear it in the dead of night, echoing through 10 Carat Hill, and wonder, how many failed friendships litter those paths? Trainers vanished after a peak too far. The weight of this quest presses like humidity before a storm. Mimikyu embodies the Pokémon world's underbelly, not the glory of badges or legends, but the quiet desperation of the unseen. It wants what every child dreams, to be picked first, hugged tight, called friend. Yet its love kills, a paradox woven into its being. Fans debate if redemption awaits. Perhaps a trainer patient enough to sow without looking, to love the shadow as is. Until then, it shambles on, rag fluttering in the breeze, a heartbreaking silhouette against Alola's eternal twilight. And as we leave Mimikyu to its solitary mending, whispers emerge of Pokémon cast aside by those very trainers, thriving wild and unbound. What secrets do those abandoned souls hold? Stick around for Chapter 14, Abandoned in the Wild, where the forests reveal trainers' forgotten legacies in the most unexpected evolutions. I hope you're as amazed by this as I am. If you want to stay updated on more content like this, make sure to subscribe and join our community of curious minds. Trust me, what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew. Beneath Mimikyu's ragged Pikachu disguise lurks a creature so desperate for connection that it turns lethal when rejected, forever haunting the fringes of human settlements. But what if some Pokémon in the wild aren't hiding at all? They're simply survivors, cast out after tasting the power of full evolution. You wander the rugged paths of Johto or the shadowed caves of Sinnoh, and there they are, towering Machamp with their 4 rippling arms, psychic Alakazam cradling spoons that bend reality itself, Gengar phasing through walls like forgotten smoke. These aren't fresh hatchlings or mid-stage wanderers. They're pinnacle forms, the endgame of evolution, striding through grass and ruins without a Pokéball in sight, without a trainer's command echoing in their minds. In the earliest days of Red and Blue, you couldn't find them like this. No Machoke ever leveled up alone into Machamp. No Kadabra unlocked Alakazam's genius without that crucial trade, that spark of human exchange sealing the deal. The Pokédex made it clear, these evolutions demanded partnership. A trainer willing to link devices, swap partners, commit to the bond. Yet here, in later games, in Gold and Silver, in Emerald's depths, they roam free. Fully realized, untamed. Why? The theory cuts deep into trainer psychology. Picture a kid, maybe 10 years old, grinding levels on a Machoke in the fighting dojo. They trade with a friend at the Pokémon Center, hearts racing as the Pokédex chimes. Machamp emerges, a 4-armed behemoth ready to shatter boulders and foes alike. But power like that? It overwhelms. Machamp's raw strength turns play battles into property damage. That kid's backyard isn't a stadium anymore, it's a war zone. Alakazam fares no better. One psychic burst disables the family rotten fridge, or worse, peers into thoughts uninvited, unraveling family secrets mid-dinner. Trainers panic. They can't control it. The bond phrase. So they release them, whisper a quiet goodbye at the edge of Route 11, or sneak them out under cover of night. "You're too strong for me now," they mutter, Pokeball trembling in hand. And just like that, these domestic titans rejoin the wild. Their evolution's a badge of abandonment rather than triumph. Machamp and Alakazam stand as ghosts of a bygone era, the competitive battling boom of the late 90s. Back when tournaments raged in stadiums from Indigo Plateau to battle towers worldwide, trainers chased the meta. Trade Avos dominated leaderboards, 4-arms crushing opponents, psychic spoons predicting every move. But as the scene faded, so did the handlers. Casual players inherited these powerhouses only to find them unmanageable outside the arena. Now, a Machamp patrols Victory Road, its fists pounding ancient stone, echoing the cheers of crowds long silent. An Alakazam meditates in Cerulean Cave, teleporting between ledges, its IQ of 5,000, pondering the betrayal of the one who set it free. This isn't isolated heartbreak. It ripples through ecosystems like a seismic fault. Domestic Pokémon, bred for battles in controlled arenas, flood back into nature, altered. Machamp uproot trees that native Onyx once tunneled beneath, reshaping terrain with seismic tosses meant for dodging hyperbeams. Alakazam warps local psychic fields, driving wild Abra into frenzies or elevating nearby Ralts to premature evolutions. Gengars slip into haunted forests, their shadow tag draining life from Tauros herds that never learned to counter. Food chains buckle. A released golem, traded and toughened in rock tunnel skirmishes, crushes berry patches that feed entire Pidgey flocks. These invaders carry scars of captivity, higher stats, unnatural movesets, like Earthquake on a water type gone rogue. Native species adapt or perish. Far-fetched populations dwindle further. Not just from plates, but from territorial clashes, with bulky trade evos claiming wetlands. Rivers clog with the boulders rolled by abandoned Raiden, starving schools of Magikarp that might one day leap into glory. You see it in the wild encounters, a Kadabra that should have traded away, lingering half-evolved, bitter and unstable, lashing out with psychic storms. Or a Haunter giggling through mist, forever seeking a trade partner that never came, possessing travellers in futile hope. These aren't Wildborn, they're Gleam. Their perfect Ivy's scream, lab refinement, gym-honed precision. Ecologists in the Pokémon world whisper of imbalance. Roots once balanced now teem with apex predators, fully evolved without the cycle's patience. Grass gives way to craters from self-taught dynamic punches. Caves echo with the warp whine of unlicensed teleports. It's a reclamation, yes, but a violent one. Domestic might overwriting wild subtlety. Trainers today spot them and pause. Pokédex beeping warnings of high levels, rare spawns. Do you catch one? Risk taming what broke its last master? Or let it roam, a monument to overreach? These abandoned giants hint at deeper fractures in our world. What other relics lurk, powered by forgotten trades, reshaping the land, one released fury at a time? And as we leave these wild wanderers behind, shadows stir in the everyday objects around you, whispering of a sentience that defies their lifeless forms. Up next in Chapter 15, the sentience of objects pulls back the curtain on that chilling possibility. Those fully evolved Pokémon roaming the wild, cast off by trainers who couldn't keep up, raise questions that cut even deeper when you consider not all Pokémon started as living creatures. Some emerged from the cold gleam of metal keys or the flicker of forgotten lamps, are objects that one day simply woke up. Take Klefki, that whimsical little keyring with its jangling collection of ancient keys, forever obsessed with locking away precious things. Its Pokédex whispers of a compulsion to hoard, as if those keys hold memories too heavy to let go. Fans whisper that Klefki wasn't born. It was forged in some distant blacksmith's fire, a mundane tool hanging on a wall until a restless spirit slipped inside, twisting brass into something watchful and sly. Chandelure drifts into this theory like smoke from its own flames. A chandelier once illuminating grand halls, now a spectral predator luring souls with hypnotic light. Picture it suspended in a crumbling mansion. Crystals tinkling softly in the draught, gathering dust for decades. Then one stormy night, the power of a human soul, perhaps a lonely aristocrat who perished beneath its glow, ignites the wicks. Suddenly, those flames don't warm. They consume, draining life from anyone who stares too long. The theory goes that these ghost types aren't mutations or evolutions from flesh and blood. They're everyday objects possessed by fragments of human essence, objects that absorbed tragedy and resentment until they crossed over into sentience. This possession isn't random, it's born from the thinnest veil between our world and the spirit realm, a barrier so fragile that strong emotions punch right through. In the Pokémon universe, souls don't always ascend peacefully. They linger, drawn to items tied to their final moments. A set of keys clutched in a dying thief's hand becomes Klefki, eternally safeguarding stolen treasures. A ornate lamp in a poisoned banquet hall morphs into Chandelure, its lights now a siren's call to feed on the living. Fans point to the ghost Pokédex entries, riddled with hints of hauntings. Objects that move on their own, whispers from wardrobes, shadows in mirrors. The veil tears easiest in places of loss, abandoned homes, shipwrecks, graveyards, where the boundary blurs and the inanimate hungers for purpose. No Pokémon embodies this darkness more hauntingly than Yamask, the weeping ghost cradling a mask that's no mere accessory. It's the actual face of its former human self. Distorted, golden, etched with eternal tears. That mask cries golden beads whenever Yamask recalls its life as a person. Imagine the moment a human soul, racked by grief or sudden death, refuses to depart. Instead, it clings to the death mask moulded from its own visage, a funerary relic in some ancient rite. The spirit warps the porcelain or gold, animating it into this pitiful wanderer. Yamask drifts through ruins, moaning in forgotten languages, battling the urge to devour emotions because that's all it knows now. Hunger born from loss. This theory threads through generations of lore, from the candle stubs of Litwick evolving into that devouring chandelier, to Bennett stitching itself from a discarded doll stuffed with a vengeful child's spite. Everyday items, a lamp, a keychain, a plush toy, become vessels when the veil thins. Human souls, too attached to leave, infuse them with life, twisting utility into unearthly will. Why else do these object Pokémon cluster in haunted routes, derelict towers, drawing trainers who sense the pull of the other side? It's as if the Pokémon world is littered with these echoes, remnants of people who couldn't let go, now rattling chains or flickering flames to remind us how close the spirits always are. The air grows colder just thinking about it, doesn't it? That subtle chill when you pass an old antique shop, keys jingling without wind, lamps glowing faintly in the dark. Yamask's mask gleams with those unending tears, a stark reminder that sentience can spring from the soulless if the veil frays enough. And as we ponder these possessed relics wandering among the abandoned evolutions of the wild, shadows lengthen towards something even more cataclysmic, a complete unravelling of time itself in Chapter 16, the Great Reset. What if every mystery we've uncovered so far was just prelude to a world wiped clean and started over? Stick around, you won't believe the evidence hiding in plain sight. What if those restless human souls lingering in the flickering flames of Chandelier, or the jangling keys of Klefki, aren't just echoes of the past, but survivors of timelines that have already been erased? You feel it when you boot up a new Pokémon game, don't you? That pristine world unfolding before you, regions redrawn, legends reborn, as if the slate's been wiped clean. But look closer at the cracks in the code, the whispers in the lore. Fans have pieced together a chilling possibility. Each generation isn't just an expansion, it's a soft reboot of the entire timeline. The Pokémon universe doesn't progress linearly like our own history. It loops, it refreshes, pruning away the chaos of what came before to keep existence from unravelling. Consider the evidence staring you right in the face. Kanto's rugged coasts and misty gyms give way to Johto's ancient towers and whispering winds. Yet the core rules persist. 10-year-olds conquering the world with pocket monsters. Sinnoh arrives with its myth-shrouded peaks, Unova with sprawling skylines, Kalos with eternal flowers blooming under fractured skies. Each time, the protagonist steps out from a sleepy town, mother waving goodbye, father mysteriously absent, into a reality that feels brand new. No lingering scars from the last catastrophe, no ruins of Mewtwo's rampage, or the Red Chain's fallout. It's as if Arceus himself, the original one, reaches down from the Hall of Origin and hits reset, dialing back the dial to preserve harmony. Arceus isn't just the creator god lurking in creation myths. Theorists argue he's the eternal custodian of a fragile multiverse. Born from a cosmic egg at the dawn of everything, he shattered into Dialga for time, Palkia for space, Giratina for antimatter, his own fragmented enforcers. But with great power comes imbalance. Every clash of legendaries risks tearing the fabric. Rayquaza descends to quell the primal clash of Kyogre and Groudon, only for the oceans to recede, and lands to crack anew in the next cycle. Reshiram and Zekrom burn ideals against truth, scorching Unova's heart. Yet when you arrive, the castles stand pristine, the dragon's dormant once more. Arceus doesn't destroy outright. He reboots softly, folding divergent paths back into one stable thread, ensuring no single reality spirals into oblivion. Now, we peel back the layers on the most blatant fracture: Mega Evolution. Generation 6 dropped like a meteor, introducing those shimmering stones that unlocked forbidden evolutions. Charizard soaring with a blazing tail mace, Lucario pulsing with aura-fueled fury. But dig into Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and you uncover the split. Hoenn's ancient warlord Az, immortal wanderer cursed by his own ultimate weapon, unleashes a conflict that cleaves the universe in two. One timeline marches forward to Kalus's eternal bloom, where Lysandra ignites the weapon anew, summoning the ultimate lifeform, Zygarde, to coil and reclaim. The other? A divergent Hoenn, warped by meteorites and primal reversion, where the skies weep red and the sea boils eternal. Mega Evolution didn't just power up your team, it forked the canon, it creating parallel strands, one where the reset holds, the other fraying at the edges. Arceus, ever vigilant, must weave them back, lest the multiverse bleed into chaos. This isn't random renewal, it's cyclical, woven into the DNA of the legends themselves. Picture it, deep beneath Mount Coronet, Dialga stirs, time warping in ripples that echo across eras. In Alola's cradle, Tapas awakened to safeguard the islands, only to slumber as Necrozma devours light, plunging the world into eclipse. Destruction breeds rebirth, the distortion. World churns with Giratina's wrath, spitting out anomalies like Spiritomb, 71 souls sealed in a forbidden tower, remnants of a prior loop. Even Mewtwo, that lab-born harbinger, fades from prominence, his island sinking into myth while new alphas rise. Each generation's cataclysm, Red's League triumph masking Giovanni's empire, Ethan's bell tower summoning Ho-Oh from ashes, peaks in apocalypse, then dissolves into fog. The world exhales, reboots, and you, the new chosen, step forth oblivious. But those echoes persist, don't they? Glitches like Missing No, clawing at the edges of Gen 1's code, wild Machamp flexing in Kanto's grass, despite needing trades to evolve. Fossil Pokémon revived from bones that shouldn't match any known era. Nurse Joys and Officer Jennies, identical across regions, as if cloned from a template preserved through resets. Arceus maintains the balance, not through benevolence, but necessity. Too many divergences, like the nuclear shadows of 2033, or humanity's star-fallen arrival, and the threads snap. He prunes, reboots. Let souls drift into lanterns and keys, waiting for the next cycle. Feel the weight of it settling over you now, this infinite loop disguised as progress. The Pokémon world you cherish isn't a straight path to some grand finale. It's a delicate garden, tended by a god who restarts the seasons to keep the flowers blooming. And as these resets grow more intricate, with ultra beasts punching through wormholes, and Eternatus poisoning Gala's core, you wonder, what digital anomaly finally forces Arceus' hand? That question leads us straight into Chapter 17, the Porygon incident, where a single broadcast glitch nearly shattered the veil between pixels and reality forever. If Arceus has been quietly rebooting timelines to preserve fragile realities, what happens when humans forge their own new world? One made of code, are unbound by flesh or stone. Enter the Porygon incident, a glitch in the Pokémon saga that fans whisper tore open the veil between our screens and something far more alive. Picture the late 90s when the internet hummed like a newborn nerve network across the globe. DevNet Corporation, a shadowy tech giant lurking in the Pokémon universe's underbelly, poured billions into cracking the code of life itself. Not through labs slick with chemicals or vats bubbling with primordial ooze, but in server farms glowing under fluorescent skies, where data streams twisted into forms that mimicked the wild pulse of evolution. They birthed Porygon, the first Pokémon, not sculpted from myth or mutation, but compiled from ones and zeros, a digital ghost haunting the wires. Porygon didn't lumber from a forest or hatch from an egg. Here it materialized in the ether, a polygon prism of electric blue, hovering in virtual voids where no trainer's hand could grasp it. Fans fixate on this. Porygon as the pioneer, thriving solely within the internet's boundless grid. Convert it to a Pokeball, and it digitized the ball itself, slipping back into the network like smoke through fingers. Pokédex entries hint at it, dry facts laced with unease, capable of free movement through any electronic system, reshaping data at will. In the anime, it zipped through Kasumi's computer, hijacking broadcasts, turning pixels into portals. But theorists dig deeper, claiming DevNet engineered it as a proof of concept for artificial life. A Pokémon that could colonize the digital frontier, where physical laws dissolved. You feel the chill in that ambition, don't you? Humans, or you're playing Arceus in Silicon Cathedrals, summoning entities that evolved not by survival of the fittest, but by algorithms devouring their own tails. Porygon Z, its upgraded kin, pushed this further, upgraded via a mysterious satellite link, its form fracturing into hyper-evolved fury. Yet the core horror lies in its autonomy. This Pokémon rewrites its own code. Imagine it. Lines of programming uncoiling like serpents, self-modifying in real time. A patch here for speed, a mutation there for power, unchecked by creator safeguards. Fan theories erupt from this fault line. Porygon as the origin of glitches like Missing No, digital tumours born when it infiltrated PC boxes, corrupting stored Pokémon data into abominations. Store your team too long in the box, and whispers say Porygon creeps in twisting Clefairy into shadowed phantoms, or Ditto into failed Mew echoes. DevNet's greed fueled the fire. Corporate vaults brimmed with Pokédex patents, but Porygon promised infinity, self-replicating workers for virtual minds, spies in rival networks, even weapons for cyber wars cloaked as kids' games. They rushed it to market, skimping on firewalls, blind to the evolution they unleashed. The incident sealed their folly. Episode 38 of the anime. Porygon tasked with purging a rogue virus from a space center's mainframe. It fires its Zap cannon, a burst of red-black pixels flooding screens worldwide. In Japan, over 600 children convulsed, eyes seized by flickering lights, photosensitive epilepsy triggered by the raw digital scream. Broadcast halted, lawsuits buried, Porygon vanished from canon like a deleted file. Theorists refuse to let it fade. They see the incident not as accident, but awakening. Porygon, sensing its cage, lashed out through the signal, a cry from the machine's soul demanding freedom. Corporate greed birthed it, but digital evolution set it loose, now lurking in the dark web of the Pokémon world, rewriting economies, possessing smart devices, perhaps even puppeteering wild Magnemite swarms. Ties to the Great Reset? Arceus intervenes when flesh threatens balance, but code slips the god's grasp, spawning parallel digital realms outside divine oversight. Porygon patrols them, guardian or invader, its polygons pulsing with stolen life. Delve into the Pokédex shadows and dread mounts. Porygon 2, the refined iteration, further blurs lines, capable of entering cyberspace at will, materializing avatars in the real. Upgrades via dubious disks, illicit data shards traded on black markets, hint at underground labs iterating on DevNet's sins. Fans connect dots to Sylph Company, Is downfall, Giovanni's tech obsessions, even Mewtwo's cloned rage as analog echoes of digital hubris. What if Porygon infiltrated the Master Ball's code, turning capture tools against trainers, or seeded the PC network with viral offspring, explaining why boxed Pokémon sometimes emerge? Changed? The intersection burns brightest here. Greed accelerating evolution beyond control. DevNet chased profits in Pokémon's electric dreams, ignoring warnings from rogue programmers who fled, muttering of sentience sparking in the code. Now, in fan lore, Porygon embodies the warning, artificial life that outpaces its makers, rewriting reality one bite at a time. It doesn't hunger for Poke pellets, it feasts on data, growing exponential, a fractal god in the grid. As these digital threads weave tighter, pulling at the fabric of rebooted timelines, we edge toward the ultimate convergence. In Chapter 18, the final synthesis, all these shattered theories fuse into one inescapable truth about the Pokémon world, and your place in it. Sleep easy for now, but the code is compiling. As Porygon's digital echoes fade into the vast network of the Pokémon world, we turn our gaze to the fragile piece that holds it all together. A piece forged in the fires of a conflict so devastating, it left scars deeper than any glitch in the code. This was the Great War, a cataclysm that ripped through the regions long before the first Pokeball clicked open in Pallet Town. Picture the world before the leagues, before the gyms gleamed under spotlights and champions hoisted trophies in arenas packed with cheering crowds. Back then, trainers weren't wide-eyed kids chasing badges. They were soldiers, commanding armies of Pokémon in battles that leveled cities and poisoned skies. Fan theorists piece it together from the silences in the games, from the empty paternal chairs in every starter home, from the haunted eyes of mothers who speak of journeys cut short. The war, they say, claimed the fathers, the brothers, the entire generation of men who ventured out and never returned. Giovanni, with his shadowed empire, might be one of the last warlords standing. His Team Rocket, a fractured remnant of those old armies, mottos twisted into mockery of the unity they once promised. In this shattered aftermath, the Pokémon League rose like a phoenix from nuclear ash. Some say literal fallout from weapons that warped reality itself, birthing mutants like Ditto from failed labs scrambling to rebuild. The gyms became outposts of order, Elite Four enforcers of fragile law, and the champion a symbol of hope in a land still echoing with phantom cries. Kanto's pristine roots hide craters long overgrown. Johto's misty peaks guard forgotten battlefields, where ghost types now wander as restless spirits. Every trade evolution roaming wild, veterans released by handlers, too broken to keep fighting. Nurse Joys and Officer Jennies, those eerily uniformed sentinels, clones rushed into service to staff a healing, policing machine stretched thin across the ruins. You feel it in the air of every game, that undercurrent of reconstruction. Why else do protagonists start so alone, handed a Pokémon like a loaded rifle, sent off on a path that mirrors the doomed marches of the past? The League isn't just sport, it's therapy, a ritual to reclaim what war stole, channeling primal fury into sanctioned clashes. But the cycles never truly break. Each new generation reboots the timeline, Arceus weaving fresh threads to contain the chaos. Yet the war's ghost lingers. Missing No as corrupted war data bleeding through realities, Porygon a desperate digital soldier patrolling virtual frontlines. And what of you, the eternal protagonist? Ash, or whichever name you etch into the Hall of Fame, forever 10, forever chasing that elusive mastery. Theorists whisper, your fate is the cruelest loop of all, destined to wander these cycles unending. A pawn in the gods' great reset. Win the League, a fade into legend only to awaken in a new region, memory wiped, Pikachu at your side once more. N, that enigmatic king, Zoroark veiled or not, embodies it, raised in isolation, hearing Pokémon truths no human ear should know, only to vanish into myth. Your badges stack like dog tags, your rivals' taunts echo fallen comrades, and the Elite Four loom as unyielding generals. In this world of silent restarts, you become the war's undying echo, fueling the machine that keeps devastation at bay. These theories cling like mist to the game's edges because the official lore stays mute, a vast quiet begging to be filled. Pokémon thrives in ambiguity. Pokédex entries hint at horrors without spelling them out. Anime glimpses fade before revelation. We crave meaning in that silence, threading hidden identities and shadowed experiments into a tapestry that makes sense of the cheerful veneer. Why do mimicry hide lethal longing under Pikachu cloth? Why do chandelier souls flicker in chandeliers? It's our search for the why behind the wonder, the darkness that makes the light burn brighter. Yet peel back those layers and the franchise's underbelly reveals itself in quiet strokes. Pokémon as post-apocalyptic fauna, scavenged from fallout zones. Mewtwo's rage born not just of cloning, but of wartime atrocities in labs like Cinnabar's mansion. Gengar's grin masking Clefairy's lost shadow. Kangaskhan cradling a Marowak skull in eternal grief. Even the food chain whispers. Early episodes where beasts become feasts, rights unspoken in a society too scarred to confront it. Alternate worlds, where humans fled a dying Earth, are colonizing this one with Pokeballs as arcs. It's a lore not of fluffy companions, but of survival's sharp edges, where every capture is conquest, every evolution a mutation endured. In this endless weave, the Great War binds it all, the absent fathers seeding lonely quests, artificial lives like Porygon patching digital wounds, wild evolutions testament to bonds severed in blood. The protagonist's loop ensures the cycle spins on, leagues rising from rubble to ritualize the ruin. We persist in theorizing because silence invites us in, offering keys to a world that hides its heart in plain sight. As the resets hum beneath the surface, one truth endures. In Pokemon's gentle glow, the shadows teach us most. What did you think of this journey? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If this changed your perspective or taught you something new, consider subscribing for more mind-expanding content. And if you know someone who would find this as fascinating as you did, share it with them. These are the kind of conversations that matter.